Today, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful ideas ever, a way of thinking that connects a weird chicken illness from over 100 years ago to, believe it or not, the smartphone in your hand and even the future of our planet. And it all kicks off with a simple question.
I know, it sounds like a riddle, right? A sick chicken, a smartphone, what could possibly connect them? But it's not a joke. It's actually the perfect way to understand a repeatable process that literally built the world we live in, one discovery at a time. And that process is the scientific method. Now, don't tune out. This isn't some boring, rigid formula from a textbook. Think of it more like a recipe for discovery, a really smart way to ask questions and test the answers so you can figure out what's really going on. Our story starts for real back in the 1890s, inside a lab.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in the Dutch East Indies, what we now call Indonesia. There's this baffling medical mystery that nobody can seem to crack, and it's all about what's happening to some chickens in a laboratory.
So, a Dutch physician, a guy named Christian Eichmann, notices something really strange. The chickens in his lab are getting this paralyzing disease, beriberi. They'd get sick, they couldn't walk right. But then, out of nowhere, some of them would just get better. Why? This question, this little observation, was the very first step.
Eichmann found his first big clue in the kitchen. See, he found out that the old lab cook used to feed the chickens military leftovers, this polished white rice. But the new cook thought that was a waste, so he switched their food to the cheap, unpolished brown rice that nobody else wanted. And that was the light bulb moment. Eichmann realized that while everything else stayed the same, the cages, the water, one major thing had changed: the rice.
This observation led him to make an educated guess, what we call a hypothesis. He basically said, I bet the brown rice has something in it that cures beriberi. So, to test it, he set up a proper experiment. He took one group of healthy chickens and fed them only white rice. The other group got only brown rice. And the results? They were crystal clear. The white rice group got sick. The brown rice group was perfectly fine. The evidence was undeniable.
Eichmann reached this incredibly powerful conclusion. Brown rice contains something that stops beriberi. And get this, he didn't even know it was a vitamin yet. That part of the puzzle would be solved later. But he had proved, without a doubt, that some vital nutrient was missing from the processed white rice. This one discovery would end up saving millions of human lives and even earned him a Nobel Prize.
But see, Eichmann's experiment wasn't really just about chickens. It was the perfect little blueprint. It was a small-scale demo of the very same method that would become the engine for all of modern civilization. This way of thinking was about to be scaled up to change everything.
That same fundamental recipe, observe, guess, test, conclude, it just got used again and again and again. It's how we began to understand the stars, how we learned to fight diseases, how we built entire industries, and eventually, how we connected the whole planet. You can just see the impact of this method snowballing through history. In the 1500s, it gave us the idea that the Earth goes around the sun, completely changing how we saw the universe. In the 1700s, it powered the steam engine and the Industrial Revolution. In the 20th century, that same process led to vaccines and antibiotics. And now, in the 21st, it's the absolute bedrock of information technology, the science behind the chips that power the smartphone in your pocket. See? From sick chickens to smartphones.
And the link between these scientific steps and their impact on all of us is so direct. For instance, figuring out how to synthesize ammonia, that let us make fertilizer out of thin air, basically solving massive food shortages and feeding billions. Vaccines and antibiotics, they radically changed how long we all live. And IT didn't just give us cool gadgets, it created a totally interconnected world. Every single one of these breakthroughs came from that same methodical approach to solving a problem.
And that brings us to today. Our problems might have gotten bigger and more complicated, but the basic tool we use to solve them? It's still the same. We're now aiming that trusted method at the biggest challenges humanity has ever seen. Today, we're staring down some huge issues: energy shortages, pollution, climate change. But here's the thing. Just like with the chickens and beriberi, we aren't facing these problems completely in the dark.
All around the world, scientists and engineers are using that same recipe for discovery to create real solutions, from clean energy to amazing green tech.
So what's in this new toolkit? Well, we've got solar power, which literally turns sunlight into electricity. We've got wind power with these massive turbines that catch the energy in the air, and we have these incredible new ideas like hydrogen fuel cells, which could give us powerful, clean energy where the only thing that comes out is water. And that's not all. The toolkit also has electric cars, which are a huge deal for cutting down on air pollution. It's got carbon capture tech, devices that are designed to literally suck CO2 right out of the atmosphere. We're also using AI and robotics to make everything from our power grids to our factories way more efficient. And we're even using mind-blowing stuff like nanotechnology to make targeted nano-vaccines.
And when I say nanotechnology, what does that even mean? We're talking about building things on a scale that's almost impossible to imagine. A nanometer is 1/1000th of a meter. It's the level where we can literally move atoms around to build new materials in tiny machines, like those nanovaccines that can work so precisely inside our bodies. It's the scientific method working at the absolute edge of what's possible.
So, okay, science is giving us this incredible toolkit to build a better, more sustainable future. But a tool is only as powerful as the person using it, right? And this is where the story shifts out of the lab and into all of our hands.
Making these solutions a reality really needs action on two fronts. First, there are our own individual actions, the small stuff that adds up, like recycling, not wasting things, taking the bus, saving water and power. But then there are the big societal actions, things like investing in renewable energy, pushing for green tech, and setting aside land for nature.
The path from a sick chicken to a sustainable planet is paved by this one powerful idea. For centuries, the scientific method has been our best tool for understanding the world and for making it better. It's given us the knowledge. It's given us the technology. So the only real question left is the one we all have to answer together. Science provides the tools. What will we build?